Hello everyone and welcome to my book haul for the month of October. Yes, I've got quite a few books. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now these first three, I'm only going to read the synopsis of the first one, and that's because this is a series and I believe they follow the same characters. But these three are Fear Street books. These particular are the Fear Street Saga books. So I have book number 1, which is A New Fear. Number 2 is House of Whispers. And number 3 is Forbidden Secrets. So this one you do need to read in order, the Fear Street Saga books. So I will be telling you about reading the synopsis of the first one. The Fear name brings fortune and doom. The dark power of the Fear family consumes all those connected with it. The Fears, those they love and hate. The entire town of Shadyside, all are tainted forever by the evil of the family's curse. No one can escape. Nora Good and Daniel Fear hope to end the curse of the Fear family, but on their wedding day, a horrible fire swept through the Fear mansion, taking the life of every member of the doomed family, except one, a new Fear, the child of Nora and Daniel. Will he be able to live his life untouched by the evil of his family, or will the dark forces claim yet another Fear for their own? So that are the first three, and I don't remember how many there are, but I am working on collecting the Fear Street Saga books. Okay, so this next one is... what is this? Oh, okay. So I went to Barnes & Noble. There's 3 books like this one. I went to Barnes & Noble and they had 3 left of their mystery, blind date with a book type of a thing. And this was one of them. And the one was All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Slatter. So this is the one that was wrapped up. And it was wrapped just some white paper. And the clues were that it was fantasy. And that this is a gothic fantasy, has magic, witches, and what lurks beneath the waves. So yeah, I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do this. So it says, long ago, Mirren O'Malley's family prospered due to a deal struck with the Mur, safety for their ships in return for a child of each generation. But for many years, the family have been unable to keep their side of the bargain and have fallen into decline. Myron's grandmother is determined to restore their glory, even at the price of Myron's freedom. It says this is a spellbinding tale of dark family secrets, magic, and witches and creatures of myth and the sea, of strong women and the men who seek to control them. So, yeah. So that's all I know about that. I do like the foiling. There you go. Okay, this was the other one, and the clue was also fantasy. And then the other clues were, what's a kingdom to do when the chosen one is dead by chapter 4. Turns out this book is Fate of the Fallen by Kade. Now I actually already own a copy of this one, although I do like this cover better than the other one. And the other one is a hardback that I got from, I think, Book of the Month. But I like this cover a lot better, so I'm going to unhaul the hardback and keep the paperback, because I only need the one copy. Aslo never wanted to see the world. Born a forester, he was content to spend his life caring for the trees and animals surrounding his village. His beloved friend Matthias, however, couldn't wait to get out, and when Matthias learns he is the chosen one, he jumps in headfirst, dragging his reluctant friends along. But when the prophecy Matthias is supposed to be fulfilling fails, Aslo picks up the pieces and builds a team out of those the world gave up on long ago. When the A team just wants to get out of Dodge, the B team steps in. The bastards, the thieves, the second bests, the cheaters, and the mildly insane. Along with his axe, a less than helpful horse, and an oddly shaped sack on his waist, Aslo is determined to prove that nothing is set in stone and everything is worth fighting for. Aslo might not be a chosen one, but he is very stubborn. So, yeah, that sounds good. And I do like that cover better than the other one. Okay. And the third one that I got from Book of the Month is at the bottom of the other stack. So it'll be the last book in this video. So this next one I have is No Strangers Here by Carlene O'Connor. It says, on a rocky beach in the southwest of Ireland, the body of wealthy racehorse owner Johnny O'Reilly has been discovered. In a town like Dingle, I like that, everyone knows a little something about everyone else, but dig a bit deeper and there's always much more to find. And when Detective Inspector Cormac O'Brien is dispatched out of Killarney to lead the murder inquiry, he's determined to unearth every last buried secret. Dimpna Wild hasn't been home in years, but faced with a triple bombshell. Her mother is rumored to have been in a relationship with Johnny, her father's dementia is escalating, and her brother is avoiding her calls. She moves back to Dingle to clear her family of suspicion, and she takes over the family practice. As she takes over the family practice, she finds herself in a race with the detective inspector to uncover the dark, twisting truth behind murder, no matter how close to home it strikes. Yep. Okay, this next one, if you watched the spooky Once Upon a Book Club unboxing, you will have seen this book, and that is Hemlock Island by Kelley Armstrong. So this came in the spooky special edition. If you did not, I will read the synopsis for you here. It says, Layne Kilpatrick has been renting her vacation home to strangers. The invasion of privacy gives her panic attacks, but it's the only way she can keep her beloved Hemlock Island, which is the only thing she owns after a pandemic-fueled divorce. But broken belongings and campfires that nearly burned down the house have escalated to bloody bones, hex circles, and now terrified renters who fled after finding blood and nail marks all over the guest room closet, as though someone tried to claw their way out and failed. When Layne shows up to investigate with her teenage niece in tow, she discovers that her ex, Kit, has also been informed and is there with Jayla, his sister, and Layne's former best friend. Then Sadie, another high school friend, charters a boat over with her brother, who's now a cop. There are tensions and secrets, whispers in the woods, and before long, the discovery of the hand poking up from the earth. Then the body that goes with it. But by the time someone has taken their only means of transportation off the island, and they're trapped with someone or something that doesn't want them to leave the island alive. I think it sounds really good. Next up, I have Witchlings #2. I read the first book, which was just Witchlings, and absolutely fell in love. Gave it 5 stars, had to get the second book. So the title of the second is The Golden Frog Games, and this is written by Claribel A. Ortega. Claribel is now an auto-buy author for me. I will buy every book that she puts out. I will read the synopsis. I've read the synopsis before, on this one, but if you don't want to be spoiled for anything in the first book, skip ahead until you see the next book. Seven Salazar has a terrible secret. It's time for the 12 Towns legendary magical tournament, the Golden Frog Games. With Ravenskill hosting this year's games, all eyes are on the now famous Witchling Spares, Seven Salazar, Valley Peppercorn, and Thorn LaRue. Thorn is ready to compete as a fashion champion until a forbidden hex is used to turn her teammate to stone. Suspicion quickly falls on Thorn and her friends, but as the witchlings attempt to unravel the mystery and more witches fall victim to the stone hex, they start to realize that Thorn may be the hexer's true target. Meanwhile, Seven is harboring a dangerous secret. She's supposed to be able to communicate with animals, but the voices she hears most clearly belong to the Monstrosos. The spine-chilling voice of the deadly night beast is loudest of all. Can Seven fix her broken magic and find out who is stonifying the champions before Thorn becomes the next victim? I look forward to getting to that. Okay, this next one I got because it's Christmas and I thought this might be fun to read in December, and I don't know, I thought, for some reason I was thinking there was like puzzles in this or something, but there's not, which is fine. This will just be a fun little festive read. Anyway, that is Murder Most Festive. This is written by Ada Moncrieff, I'm guessing is how that is said. Christmas at Westbury Manor is more murderous than merry. Christmas Eve, 1938, the Westbury family and assorted friends have gathered for another legendary celebration at their beautiful country house. The champagne flows, the silver sparkles, and upstairs the rooms are ready for their occupants. But one bed will lie empty that night. On Christmas morning, David Campbell Scott is found dead in the snow. A pistol lies beside him, and only one set of footprints leads to his body. It should be an open and shut case. But to amateur sleuth Hugh Gavston, the tragedy seems more complex than the evidence implies. Campbell Scott had just returned from overseas with untold wealth. Why would he kill himself? And if Campbell Scott didn't hold the gun to his head, the question becomes, who did? Yep. Okay. This next one was, I remember getting from Amazon, and this was a complete, title buy. Like, I love the title of this. And I do like the cover too. It's more bright on the picture on Amazon and on Goodreads. So the picture's a bit more dull, or the cover seems a bit more dull in person, but that's okay. But the book I'm talking about is Bite the Woman That Feeds. I love that title. There's just something about it. Dirty Blood, book number 1. So this is the start of a series by Penelope Barsetti. The tagline is, "Only her blood will spare me." A horrible plague has swept the world. Millions are sick. More are dying. Except me. I'm immune. I'm the only one well enough to defeat this plague and save my people. Except one problem. King Snake, king of vampires, is intent on finding me. Without my people to feed on, he'll die. My blood is the only thing that will keep him alive. He won't stop until he finds me, binds me, and makes me his. I did look, so a vampire, absolutely. I will read that. And this is told in a dual POV, and it alternates between King Snake and then the main female lead, which is Larissa. So. Another Christmas one is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. Now this one does have somewhere in here. Oh, okay, so the game within the Christmas Murder Game it says, like, game number 1 is the 12 days of anagrams. The clues in the book are revealed on each of the 12 days of Christmas, so I have embedded anagrams of each of the 12 gifts in the relevant section of the book. So first day is, it says, first day of Christmas, find the anagram of a partridge in a pear tree. And then there's one for every day. So there are games within this. So you have the anagrams. Game 2 is title deeds. It says the titles of 12 of my favorite country house mysteries set at Christmas are shown throughout the book. Can you find them all? So you've got some strategy, 2 strategy games within this. And that's what tipped me to buy that. I thought that would be fun and definitely different. 12 clues, 12 keys, 12 days of Christmas. But how many will die before 12th night? The annual Christmas game is afoot at Endgame House, the Armigates Grand Family home. This year's prize is to die for, deeds to the house itself. But Lily Armigate has no intention of returning. She hasn't been back to Endgame since her mother died 21 years ago, and she has no intention of claiming the house that haunts her dreams. Until that is, she receives a letter from her aunt promising that the game's riddles will give her the keys not only to Endgame, but to its darkest secrets, including the identity of her mother's murderer. Now, Lily must compete with her estranged cousins for the 12 days of Christmas. The snow is thick, the phone lines are down, and no one is getting in or out. Lily will have to keep her wits about her because not everyone is playing fair, and there's no telling how many will die before the winner is declared. All right, next one is They Never Learn by Layne Fargo. Every year, Dr. Clark searches for the worst man at Gorman University and plots his demise. Thanks to her planning, she's avoided drawing attention to herself, but as she's preparing for her biggest kill yet, the school starts probing into the body count on campus. Determined to keep her enemies close, Scarlet insinuates herself into the investigation. Everything's going according to her master plan, until she loses control with her latest victim. Meanwhile, Gorman student Carly Schiller is simply trying to survive her freshman year. Finally free of her abusive father, Carly just wants to fade into the background. Her roommate has other ideas. Allison Hadley is cool and confident, and the two girls quickly form an intense friendship. So when Allison is assaulted at a party, Carly becomes obsessed with making the attacker pay and turning her fantasies about revenge into reality. So female rage, I read another book that was like this and absolutely loved it as far as female rage goes, so I'm intrigued to see someone else's take on that. Okay, this next one was the book from the Once Upon a Book Club Sweet box. So I will read the synopsis of this one, so this will be the second time you're hearing it if you've watched that unboxing, so you can just skip ahead to the next book if you don't want to hear it again. Otherwise, here's the synopsis. The book is My Roommate is a Vampire. I did notice in the unboxing video I said my vampire is a roommate. Still fits, I guess, but it's My Roommate is a Vampire. And this was written by Jenna Levine. It says, Cassie Greenberg loves being an artist, but it's a tough way to make a living. On the brink of eviction, she's desperate when she finds a too-good-to-be-true apartment in a beautiful Chicago neighborhood. Cassie knows there has to be a catch. Only someone with a secret to hide would rent out a room for that price. Of course, her new roommate, Frederick J. Fitzwilliam, is far from normal. He sleeps all day, is out at night on business, and talks like he walked out of a Regency romance novel. He also leaves Cassie heart-melting notes around the apartment, cares about her art, and asks about her day. And he doesn't look half bad shirtless. On the rare occasions they're both home and awake. But when Cassie finds bags of blood in the fridge that definitely weren't there earlier, Frederick has to come clean. Cassie's sexy new roommate is a vampire, and he has a proposition for her. Love the vampire stuff. Okay, this next one is called Brother by Ania Ahlborn. I'm guessing is how that one is said. There's just something about the cover on this one that's just intrigues me. Deep in the heart of Appalachia stands a crooked farmhouse miles from any road. The Morrows keep to themselves, and it's served them well so far. When girls go missing off the side of the highway, the cops don't knock on their door, which is a good thing, seeing as to what's buried in the Morrows' backyard. But 19-year-old Michael Morrow isn't like the rest of his family. He doesn't take pleasure in the screams that echo through the trees. Michael pines for normalcy, and he's sure that someday he'll see the world beyond West Virginia. When he meets Alice, a pretty girl working at a record shop in the small nearby town of Dahlia, he's immediately smitten. For a moment, he nearly forgets about the monster he's become, but his brother, Rebel, is all too eager to remind Michael of his place. All right, this next one I have is If We Were Villans by M.L. Rio. I've been wanting to pick this one up for a while, so I finally did. Enter the players. There were 7 of us then, 7 bright young things with wide, precious futures ahead of us, until that year. Holy cow. We saw no farther than the books in front of our faces. I think this is a dark academia, if I remember. On the day Oliver Marks is released from jail, the man who put him there is waiting at the door. Detective Colborne wants to know the truth, and after 10 years, Oliver is finally ready to tell it. A decade ago, Oliver is one of 7 young Shakespearean actors at Delature Classical Conservatory, a place of keen ambition and fierce competition. In this secluded world of firelight and leather-bound books, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off. Hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, Ingene, I don't know, and extra. But in their fourth and final year, good-natured rivalries turn ugly, and on opening night, real violence invades the students' worlds of make-believe. In the morning, the fourth years find themselves facing their very own tragedy, and their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police, each other, and themselves that they are innocent. Okay, this next one was complete. Like, I really do like this cover. And that is Sweet Surrender by Myra Banks. It's just very simple, and it's a peach. Or an apricot, I don't know. Something. But it's a piece of fruit on the cover. Just a lone item. Dallas cop Gray Montgomery is on a mission. Find the guy who killed his partner and bring him to justice. So far, he's found a link between the killer and Faith. And if Gray, I think I said Guy, it's Gray. And if Gray has to get close to her to catch the killer, so be it. Faith is sweet and feminine, everything Gray wants and desires in a woman. But he suspects she's playing games. No way would she allow a man to call the shots in their relationship. Or would she? Faith sees in Gray the strong, dominant man she needs, but he seems determined to keep her at a distance. So she takes matters into her own hands and prove to him it's no game she's playing. She's willing to surrender to the right man. Gray would like to be that man, but catching his partner's killer has to be his first priority, until Faith is threatened and Gray realizes he will do anything to protect her. And this next one is an arc that I won from a contest on Goodreads, and that is Help Wanted by Adelle Waldman. And I think this is her second book. No synopsis on the back. This comes out March of 2024. And at a big box store in a small town in upstate New York, the members of Team Movement clock in every day at 3:55 a.m. Under the eyes of a self-absorbed and barely competent boss, they empty the day's truck of merchandise, stock the shelves, and scatter before customers arrive. When a golden opportunity for a promotion presents itself, the diverse members of Movement, among them a comedy-obsessed oddball who acts half his age, a young woman clinging to her cool kid status from high school, a college football hopeful trying to find a new path, band together to set a just-so-crazy-it-might-work plot in motion. A darkly comic workplace caper that explores the aches and use of solidarity. Help Wanted is a deeply humane portrait of people trying against increasingly long odds to make a living. So again, this is an arc, and it comes out March of 2024. Okay, so these next three are part of a trilogy. So I will only read the synopsis of the first one. And the first one is A Prince So Cruel by Ingrid Seymour. So the synopsis, and I'll show you the cover of the other ones in a second. He needs my help, but he'll be my downfall. A prince by morning, a cretin by noon, a beast by nightfall. There is a curse on his blood, an ailment that, if revealed, could destroy his kingdom. The only one who can help him is me, a human with average healing abilities. It's what the envoy told him, and her word is law. I'm his only hope. He sends his blue-blooded friends to kidnap me so I can join their quest to Mount Ruin, the only place where I can heal him. The path is dangerous, and I don't know the entire truth. The prince is hiding something from me. To make matters worse, he isn't always proper. A Fae prince isn't supposed to lust for a human, especially when she's his prisoner. And a human girl isn't supposed to burn for someone so out of her league. The quest might kill me, but it's my heart I'm worried about. So A Prince So Cruel. That's book number one. Book number two is A Cage So Gilded. Love these covers. And number three is A Court So Dark. Yeah. Love those covers. Okay. Next two are ones that I won from Goodreads. These are both ARCs, so advanced readers copies. This one is on sale next month, November 7th of 2023 is what it says, and that is Search History by Amy Taylor. Let's see. After fleeing to Melbourne in the wake of a breakup, all Anna has to show for herself is an unfulfilling job at an overly enthusiastic tech startup and one particularly questionable dating app experience. Then she meets Evan, charming, kind, and responsible. Evan is a complete aberration from her usual type. Anna feels like she has finally awoken from a long dating nightmare. As much as she tries to let their budding relationship unfold IRL, Anna just can't resist the urge to find Evan online. When she discovers that his previous girlfriend, Emily, died unexpectedly in a hit and run less than a year ago, Anna begins to worry she's living in the shadow of his lost love. Soon, she's obsessively comparing herself to Emily, trawling through her dormant social media accounts in hope, I think it's supposed to be trolling, I don't know, in hope of understanding her better. Online, Evan and Emily's life together looked perfect, but just how perfect was it? And why won't he talk about it? This next arc that I won is on sale February 6th of 2024. And this is The Things We Didn't Know by Elba Iris Perez. It's got a huge glare, so I'm trying to keep it angled. Let's see. Andrea Rodriguez is 9 years old when her mother whisks her and her brother Pablo away from Waranaco, a tiny New England factory town that is the only home they've ever known. With no plan and no money, she leaves them with family members in Puerto Rico and promises to return. In the years that follow, Andrea and Pablo are brought back to Waranaco, only to discover a rapidly changing town and an all-American culture they almost but can never quite fit into. As they navigate the social in-betweens, clashing family values, and sometimes harsh realities of growing up, they must embrace both the triumphs and heartache that mark their journey to adulthood. I think that sounds like a good read. It sounds like it's a literary fiction. Okay, this next one, my mom brought this one to my attention, and then I just had to get this one, because one, she's intrigued by it, and two, it just sounds really good. She came to me and asking if I think this book will be too scary for her. And it might, I don't know. Anyway, so that is The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. Newly married, newly widowed, Elsie is sent to see out her pregnancy at her late husband's crumbling country estate, The Bridge. With her new servants resentful and the local villagers actively hostile, Elsie has only her husband's awkward cousin for company, or so she thinks. From inside her new home lies a mysterious wooden figure, a silent companion that bears an unsettling resemblance to Elsie herself. Yeah, she's thinking it might be a little too scary for her, but we'll see. She's probably going to wait until I read it to determine if I think that she can handle it or if it's going to be pretty scary for her. Okay, these next two are the continuation of a series, and book number one is All the Things I Wanted to Say But Never Did, or something like that. But book number two is A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. So I will read the synopsis of this one. If you have not read the first one and don't want to be spoiled, I have not read the synopsis yet. So if you don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead until you see the next book. When Beaumont is many things, beautiful, smart, sweet, innocent. At Lancaster Prep, the girls love her. They all want her to be her friend. Only I see Wren for who she really is. A repressed little virgin who keeps her feelings locked up so tight she's probably close to bursting. She thinks she's above us all, even me. I shouldn't be drawn to her. She's not my type. Until we're forced to work together in class and realize we might have more things in common than we originally thought. Soon enough, I find myself completely obsessed. I will do anything for this girl to make her fall in love with me. Anything. Now, with reading that synopsis, I can say nothing in that synopsis will spoil the first book. So we're good. Because it's going to follow different characters. So This next one takes place after that, which is book number 2. This next one is book 2.5, so this is just a little novella, and this is Birthday Kisses, again, also by Monica Murphy. 'Tis the season, and things are a little stressful for our fave couple. There's a lot going on in their lives, and Ren is feeling out of sorts. So this is going to follow the characters of book 2. So if you don't want to, just in case, now I have not continued the synopsis, skip to the next book if you don't want to hear anything in this synopsis that might spoil book 2. I don't know. Crew just wants his girl to be happy, so when an unexpected Scrooge, aka his big brother Grant, reaches out with an offer they can't refuse, Crew and Ren realize they can actually enjoy some alone time together right before the holiday and Ren's birthday. So, and this is short. This is 59 pages. Okay. Moving on. This next book I won from Goodreads, and it's a final copy. I actually won from Goodreads the arc of this, so I am very intrigued. I did enjoy the arc. I am very intrigued to read the final copy so that I can see maybe what has changed and what hasn't. But so that'll be interesting. And the book I'm talking about is The Chill by Scott Carson. Far upstate in New York's ancient forests, a drowned village lies beneath the dark waters of the Chilliwackee Reservoir. Early in the 20th century, the town was destroyed for the greater good, bringing water to the millions living downstate, or at least that's what the politicians from Manhattan insisted at the time. The local families settled there since before America's founding were forced from their land, but they didn't move far, and some didn't move at all. Now, a century later, a dark prophecy looms, and the time has come for it to be fulfilled. Yeah, I do remember enjoying that, so it'll be interesting to see if there, what are some of the changes are, if I can even remember, because it's been a bit since I've read the arc. Okay, this next one I bought because it turns out that one of the books I got from Barnes & Noble like last month is actually the 4th book in the series, so I had to get the first book. And that is Witch Please by Anne Aguirre. And I've picked this up a couple of times to the library. I have yet to read it, but I finally was like, let me go ahead and get my own copy. 1, so I have the first book in the series, and 2, I keep wanting to pick it up. So, A Love So Sweet, It Must Be Magical. Danica Waterhouse is a fully modern witch. After a messy breakup, Danica makes a pact with her cousin. They'll keep their hearts protected and have fun without involving the overly opinionated and meddlesome Waterhouse matriarchs. Titus Winokur has family trouble of his own. After a tragic loss, all he's got is his sister, his bakery sugar daddies, and a romantic curse that he's convinced has left him doomed to be alone. Until he meets Danica, the sparks are instant, their attraction irresistible. For him, she's the one. To her, he's forbidden fruit. Can a modern witch find love with an old-fashioned mundane who refuses to settle for anything less than forever? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip to this third one. It was going to be the last one, but I'm going to go ahead and skip to this third book that I got from Barnes & Noble that was on their blind date with a book type of a thing. So, and this is one I already have, but I like the feel of the paperback more than the hardback, so I will unhaul the hardback. This is another fantasy, and the clue was Indigenous mythology meets high fantasy plus slow burn side romance. And the book with that clue is Black Sun by Rebecca Warrenhorse. So again, I do have the hardback, but I will unhaul that one. Inspired by the civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas, woven into a tale of celestial prophecies, forbidden magic, and crafted with unforgettable characters. Let's see. In the holy city of Tova, 3 lives are converging during a solar eclipse, prescribed by the sun priest as an unbalancing of the world. Meanwhile, a ship launches from a distant city bound for Tova and set to arrive on the solstice. The captain of the ship, Scylla, is a disgraced teak whose song can calm the waters around her as easily as it can warp a man's mind. Man, I'm having trouble reading today. Her ship carries 1 passenger, described as harmless. The passenger, Sepiro, is a young man, blind, scared, and cloaked in destiny. As Sila well knows, when a man is described as harmless, he usually ends up being a villain. Okay. And these last three that I have to tell you about were all complete cover buys. I absolutely love the covers, and so I'm hoping the inside is just as intriguing as the cover. This first one is book number 1 in the War of Nephilim series. I'm guessing is how that is said, could be wrong, but it's the Nephilims Fate by Eliza Hampstead, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but I love this cover. It says, Alyssa spent years longing for a mysterious man who only appeared in her dreams, but when Nate rescues her from a group of supernatural attackers, she makes a shocking discovery. She's a witch, and he's a Nephilim, the son of an angel and a human, and love between them is impossible. Determined to prove the old texts wrong and find a future where they can be together, Alyssa wades deeper into a mysterious world where vampires, fae, and demons lurk among humanity. After she discovers a surprising revelation, Alyssa believes she's found the answer, but her passionate love kicks off a wild chain of events that threatens to plunge the secret magical world of London into war. With sinister magical groups vying for power and old rivalries budding to the surface, Nate and his love are quickly dragged into a conflict that will shape the destiny of the world forever. Nate knows that he's fated to be with her, but is he prepared to risk everything to stay with his witch? So, I just love this cover. Anyway, moving on, I have The Ruthless King. This is book number 1 in the Cursed Heirloom series, written by Jessica Kemery. Again, love this cover. Whatever they're doing with covers these days, absolutely enjoying. Jord Broadbent is ready to serve, answering the call to enlist in the Emperor's army. The headstrong 18-year-old farm boy is confident he'll return a hero. But when a deadly battle leaves him in mortal danger, the young soldier willingly dons a cursed ring to save his companions from a gruesome demise. Earning victory in fight after fight, Jord's newfound savagery catapults him to fame and power. But as he's seduced by the stolen heirloom's sinister whispers, the once innocent youth covets treasure beyond his reach. Balanced on a razor's edge of insanity, will he descend into a malevolent abyss? I guess we'll see. All right, and this last book in this haul to tell you about is Sweet Revenge, written by G.K. De Rosa. Again, I really like this cover. And this is book number 1 in the Hitched series. It says, one broken humanish girl, 12 gorgeous supernatural bachelors, a paranormal dating game with a bite. I'm wondering if it's vampires. We'll see. What's a half wolf girl to do when her fated mate rejects her? Apparently go on a supernatural reality dating show. 12 hunky bachelors are vying for my attention and my heart, including my ex's twin brother. It's the perfect recipe for revenge, but my desire to get back at those who hurt me is a lot harder with all the drama the other suitors bring. And when I start developing real feelings for the man who should be my enemy, nothing feels better than getting sweet revenge until you fall in love with your target. So wolf, not vampire. I was wrong by the bite thing. So that's it. Let me know. Have you read any of these books? Have you read maybe a different book by any of these authors? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.